So welcome everybody to the March edition of Top of Mind, a subject matter expert series dedicated to best strategies for you to grow your business. And I'm super excited today to have Chelsea Olsen joining us. Chelsea is the founder of Close, a sales training agency that helps B2B teams integrate LinkedIn and social selling into their sales processes to increase their sales success. Chelsea teaches teams how to build a strong pipeline and a brand that consistently drives your business revenue. So, Chelsea, welcome to Top of Mind, and
Yay.
turning the microphone over to you.
Yeah, well, thank you for the introduction. You did my company justice. So, like you said, my company Close is a sales training agency that's focused on helping B2B companies leverage LinkedIn to increase sales, drive brand awareness for marketing, and ultimately, at the end of the day, drive revenue growth. Um, so let's just jump into that. If there's any questions around LinkedIn, I think there's a lot of misconceptions on how LinkedIn can be part of your sales and marketing motion. So I'm happy to go over them.
Wonderful.
Anyone have questions? No?
Any questions so far? The folks who are joining us live?
Nope.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Then let's jump right in, Chelsea.
Yeah. So, what would be helpful too for me to understand is, typically, depending upon the size of your company, right? You use LinkedIn in different ways. So just real quick, so I could read the room, what's like the type of company you have? Just put in the chat the size of the company so I can make the conversation relevant. And you could send it to me directly if you don't want to share it publicly.
Oh, I'm happy to.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. So, and I'm just checking the chat as well.
You want me to put it in the chat or just tell you?
Hey, just tell me. Just tell me.
Yeah. So I worked for a marketing services company called Starista.
Hmm.
You've got 150 employees and probably 12 to 15 salespeople. Um, we do have a marketing group that puts out content both on LinkedIn and through blogs. So I tend to share a lot of company content. Um, we also have Sales Navigator. So, I do quite a bit of prospect research and prospect outreach on LinkedIn. Um, very happy with the connection rates, but could use some help on the engagement rates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a challenge. What about you, Jason? Thank
Hey,
you. Yeah.
morning.
Hi.
Yeah, so we're a cybersecurity firm specializing in fractional chief security officer services.
Yeah.
What we do is we mitigate overall business risk and reduce their cyber liability, which is not very sexy. So that's always part of the issue is taking the conversation from conversation to interest.
Hmm.
Currently doing some LinkedIn Sales Navigator outreach now with a messaging sequence, and we're getting about a 50% connection rate right now. And then just starting the conversation and trying to get that geared towards interest in a conversation.
Okay.
One of the problems that we face is in order to really start the sales process, and it has to start with an assessment. Have to understand where they are. But in my business, offering a free assessment is much like offering a free colonoscopy. So
Right.
so that's our struggle right there.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So this gives me some ideas on how I can help. And then what's the size of your company, employee size?
Employee size, we're small. We have a pretty significant team that is contracted out and vendor
Yeah.
supported.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Okay. I work with a lot of companies, by the way, in your space, Jason, so I'm very familiar. And then Peter, same. I worked in the marketing agency space for 10 years. And
Yeah.
I've used LinkedIn a lot for both of your industries. So some nuances there, but pretty similar. So the biggest thing today is getting people to have a conversation with you on LinkedIn, right? That's ultimately what it is, right? You could post all day long, you could get engagement, but at the end of the day, what you really want is meetings and leads and conversations started. I think, Jason, you hit it on the head when you said, you have the meeting acceptance rate, but it's how do you have that conversation? Because you need an assessment. So one thing I teach people to do today is different than what we used to teach in sales. So back in the day, right, we would do some type of phone call, a cold email, we would ask for a meeting. People really didn't have access to information. So if they were even slightly interested in what we had to say, they would come on the meeting and learn from us, right? Well, times have significantly changed and the buyer's journey has changed. So what I teach now is first understanding how your buyers operate. So what happens today is, let's say someone gets an email or a message from you guys, right? Or sees a post or anything, like cold call, anything. They're actually not going to just, if they're interested, book a call with you to learn more and go through that type of assessment, right? They're going to go to your content, like your LinkedIn page, your profile pages. And when they do that, they're going to self-educate. So buyers today, before they'll ever jump on a meeting with a salesperson, typically are 70% through their buying journey before they'll talk to somebody. So that means they're educating themselves. They're doing their own research. And the way they're doing that is on LinkedIn and with that content that's on LinkedIn, not so much with the website. So LinkedIn is oftentimes replacing that website and it's acting like a landing page. Now, it's less important to get the engagement from, I'm going to pin myself here. It's less important to get the engagement on your LinkedIn posts. It's more important to have the right type of content there. So we are supporting the prospect in that buyer journey. Okay. So let's say we nail that part, right? Once we bring them in and we're having, you want to have that conversation, like a text conversation, pre-qualifying them in some way in the DMs. So I see people fall into two boats with the conversations and the leads and the sales navigator messaging and all that. One is doing a lot of outreach and it's all about them. Like, we're a marketing agency. We do great websites. We do ads for these types of clients. Would you like to meet with us? Here's my Calendly, right? We, me. And then on the other side, I see people being like, okay, well, we know that doesn't work anymore, that mass outreach and slamming our calendar in their face. So now we're going to just try to have fluffy conversations and then like coax the conversation into a booked meeting. But that doesn't work either because it's ambiguous. People who are important usually don't have time for that. And also it's kind of bait and switchy, right? Like you're talking to me about where your kid goes to college and then all of a sudden you're trying to, sell me your cybersecurity services, right? So we have to find the balance between that. One thing I like to do is to make sure, let's say you guys are going to use LinkedIn for outreach, and this sounds so standard, but look at who you're targeting first. So first, make sure that your ICP, your leads list is on point, right? That's so important that there's some type of commonality there and that we're only using any type of tool like automation, something like Dripify, Connected, there's a million of them out there, HeyReach. We're only using those to send the connection requests. Once that's done, we turn off the automation and we pick up and have a conversation. Because at that point, what you should be doing is first going to their profile page, researching them a little bit, a few minutes, right? Commenting on some posts, showing their page a little love because everyone does not have much engagement here, right? And they appreciate it. And then coming to the messages and saying something along the lines of, hey, let's pretend his name's John Smith. Hey, John Smith, I just looked at your page. I saw your post on, I don't know, like website security being important today. I find that so interesting. That's actually something we help our clients with. Just curious, do you guys have somebody fractionally right now? Or do you have you can look it up if they have a full-time person, but you could say, I didn't see you have a full-time person. Do you have someone fractionally supporting you right now, as a chief fractional technology officer? I think that's what you do, right? something like that, and jumping right into it. So we're not wasting time. Okay. We're being very specific. This phrase that I just said, just curious, plays out really well. So you mentioned something above in the message related to them that you saw on their profile, in a blog, on their website, like anything. So they know you did actual research. Underneath it, you say, just curious, question mark. For marketing, it could be like, just curious, do you have any campaigns coming up? I don't know what do you do specifically in marketing, Peter?
So stuff related to ICP work. We're a data company and
Okay.
also a marketing technology company where we can send out emails and digital advertising to those audiences that we create for clients.
You can ask them, like, just curious, do you have, I mean, it sounds like cold email. Is it cold
Yeah.
email? Yeah.
Yep.
See, don't be ambiguous. Like, you do cold email. It's okay. Just like, do you have a cold email partner right now? Has that been ever something you've considered? It's okay to ask. You have to ask. People don't have time, right? And
Yep.
being very clear in the message and clearly communicating what you do is absolutely the hardest part of all of this. Jason has it a little easier because when you have a fraction, when you're hiring people fractionally, I mean, it's just a smoother thing. I used to be a fractional CRO, and it was so easy to say, right? Like, are you looking for a fractional CRO? People within my ICP know what that means. It's very easy. When you're doing other things, and maybe you have a suite of offerings, it can get a little bit more complicated. But Peter, it's okay to ask, like, do they have a cold email partner? Or what do you do on the ad side? What was that you said you did?
Connected television advertising, programmatic digital.
CTV streaming?
Yeah.
So you do cold email and streaming. That is,
We're the only company that does that.
yeah, why those? That's so random. Like, those two things are not connected. Do they connect them in some way?
Well, it's all about deploying the data. But yes, we do connect it. So
Okay.
while somebody is viewing a connected television ad, we
Yeah.
can serve an email.
Oh, that's super cool. I'm gonna have to talk to you after. I love that. Okay, so that's very unique. So what you do not do cold email campaigns asking for meetings. What you do is retargeted emails to people watching streaming ads on TV. So that's really cool. I would message people and ask them, just curious, do you guys have someone helping you right now? Or have you ever considered doing this? It's kind of a new tactic. I would say that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, have you ever considered doing streaming TV ads and then while those people are watching, sending them an email, a retargeted email, and then, a series of drip emails after that to their ICP? That's super cool. And I work in this space a lot, and I have not heard of that. So, um, just don't be scared. And that's the biggest message that I have for everyone. Don't be scared to ask. People appreciate it. They don't have time. And if it's not relevant, it's okay. Most of my clients, like, they'll be like, oh, like, no one's interested. I'm like, that's great. You're getting responses. Like, that's the first step in this, is to just get people coming back to you. And who knows, like, okay, they're not interested now, so leave them be, right? They might be interested, they might know somebody, and that's where that content comes in, because now you're connected to them. And if you're producing the right type of content, you might stay within their orbit, right? It's really hard to do, but you might stay top of funnel for them here and there. Your post might come onto their feed. They might see you. Now they have clarity on what you do. Down the line, they might want to do it, or they have someone in their network who says, hey, do you know anyone who does this? And they go, oh, actually, you know what? That person's been posting. I remember they do this. Ethan, any questions? Hand
I
raise.
actually did. Thank you. You just
Yeah.
caught me as I raised my hand. So great timing. You said something that really struck me as being critically important is buyers today self-educate up to 70% in advance of the process. So before they even have a conversation with you, as you said, they've vetted you through your LinkedIn profile. Any strategies that you find most effective in terms of marrying the content on your profile to your ICP and making sure that you're not just strictly keyword or SEO, SEM algorithm loading it, but
Mhm.
that the message from your LinkedIn resonates with one or more of your ideal client profiles. Because to me, if they're looking at your LinkedIn profile and making yay or nay decisions, I'm hearing a big piece of this is making sure your messaging is on point.
Yes, it's literally everything. And it's everything when it comes to anything in sales and marketing. And to be honest with you, it is the biggest issue I see companies facing. Hands down. Like someone asked me, if you were a marketing queen for the day, like what's the one thing you would change? And I said, people just actually saying what they do and not speaking in riddles. And the reason why this is important is because all human beings right now, right? We're in the USA. All of them see 4,000 to 10,000 ads per day. Like, let that sink into your mind of how much information that is. Our brains are overwhelmed. We cannot handle it. Our brains go through a process with selective attention. They block out all these ads because our brains literally could not handle all that information. But even with that process, we are overwhelmed. Our nervous systems are just slammed. And when people are going to something new, right? A new website, a new LinkedIn page, a new profile, they need clarity. If you give them confusion, they're gone. Confusion kills every deal. And I can't even tell you how many of my clients who are funded multi-million-dollar companies, when I go to their pages, I don't know what the hell they do. And I'm pretty smart. Like, I can't figure it out within 3 minutes, let alone 3 seconds. And you have barely 5. You have barely 5 seconds to capture someone's attention. So when someone lands on your profile, just as clear as day what you do, speaking to someone who's at a 5th grade reading level, because even if they are intelligent and they understand your jargon, the brain is overwhelmed, right? So don't use acronyms, don't use jargon, very clearly speak. We have a little test, we call it the Boca test. And I ask people to tell me, like, I'm a grandma, what they do. And that's where people usually get hung up. They can't do that. So when you're looking at your profile, you're looking at the headlines on your websites, you're like, if I was explaining this to a grandmother, could they understand what I do? Like maybe you're a very technical industry and that makes it harder, but a grandma with some general knowledge, right? Could they understand? So I'm actually going to pull up my website and kind of take you through this. Is that cool?
Yeah.
That's all right? Okay. Okay. So for mine, can you all see that?
Yes, but if you can make it, Chelsea, just a tad bit larger,
Yep.
perfect, perfect,
All right.
perfect.
So the thing that you want to look at is that headline, which is this, and the slogan here. So when people come to my page, I think it's pretty clear that we provide training to B2B teams so they can master LinkedIn for brand, pipeline, and revenue growth. We are training. We are not done for you lead generation. That is not what we do. We are not done for you content, although I do offer for specific clients done with you content consulting, which they can find that on my website. But we are training. #1 B2B LinkedIn trainer for 15 years and running. I am a trainer. Okay. Like that is what I'm trying. That is my unique identifier, right? And then also when they come here, you want to give them easy call to actions. So I actually am trying to slow things down. So this isn't even the best one for me to show you. I'll show you another profile. I have 2 here now. You can just have one. You could have one little featured link that says here, like click here to book a meeting. This works really well for people that are interested in chatting. But for me, I have 2 just because I do have a podcast and that's something that I've been trying to promote a little bit more. But one little link, let me take you to one of my clients that did a really good job of this. This is a client, a recent client. She's fine with me sharing her. She's part of the sales team there. We fixed the entire business page, the personal pages of the sales team and the founders. So what they do is pretty clear. The Kelley Blue Book of IT, leading the pack in IT contract savings. So they save their clients 17.5% on average in IT contracts. I don't need to be in their space to generally understand what that means, right? Like, Jason, this probably is more your world, but I think anyone can land on here and you're like, oh, okay, like they help companies save money on IT contracts. It's pretty general, right? Like I get it. That's what we want. So they have their slogan, they have a nice headline here. When someone's on LinkedIn, and let's say you're commenting or posting in the news feed, you're only going to see the first like 8 to 10 max letters of their headline. So you have to make sure these few letters are really important, that they stand out and they're communicating what you do. So this woman, Amy, I know her. She creates memorable, not canned content for businesses that want to stand out. Perfect headline, right? Like we don't even need to click on the website. I know what Amy's about. Now, if I click on her website, there's more clarity. So she's creating that. She's a CEO at Wolf Social. You shouldn't be putting your position and your title up on your headline. Like that can come at the end if you need it, but definitely not over here. And then she has her posts and stuff. But going back here to Molly, hers would say, I help companies save money on their IT contracts. That is there for a reason, because when she is in the content of other people, commenting, posting, that's what the general audience is seeing. And if they have an interest in that, they'll click on her profile. So this is a big takeaway. Make sure that headline is good. And then, you know, she has her link here, interested in IT contract savings. You click it, you go to her Calendly, same thing. It's easy, right? If someone wants to book a call, all very easy to do. The other thing is she has up here like an intro post. This is a great key content pillar that I think people should have. It's just an introduction post of who she is, saying hello to the network on LinkedIn, a selfie image or just an image of yourself. Faces resonate. Doesn't matter what you look like. People want to know who you are, what you look like. It builds trust. These types of posts are great. You could pin these to your top of your profile as well, because people want to know who you are. Like that's the most important thing. They want to know who they're going to be talking to. So, you know, not to throw too much information at you, but you cannot do these things. Like you can't write your headline, you can't have your slogan, you can't even write an intro post on who you are and what you do if you don't know how to communicate what you do.
I'm hearing how critically important it is for two pieces of information that you just touched on, meaning on the masthead at the very top of your profile, it's got to say in really succinct language exactly what you do. And then right underneath your headshot, which should be up to date, I just heard you say recognition, is I help companies, I solve, I something right there. As you said, it's got to be in the first, I heard like first few words.
Yeah, even for you, I would fix it. So I would say like exactly what you do. Like if someone was in an elevator with you, they walked in and they're like, what do you do, Ethan? 15 seconds. This is what I do.
What do you feel, just sorry, not to monopolize, but what do you feel about free version of LinkedIn ways to do prospecting and lead gen, like Lead Connect, where you could just set it up to automatically feed you on a daily basis, pre-qualified contacts?
Take me through that more.
So you basically go into LinkedIn, you load the API Lead Connect, which is a free service. You go in, you do a search on LinkedIn to say, give me companies that need a cybersecurity audit in the New York metro area. The contact person is CTO. And the search results page will come, and then you copy the search results and you put it into Lead Connect and you say, on a daily basis, give me 5 people, 7 days a week who are in those search results, and it automatically sends out a customized message from you to them.
Okay,
And
got you. So it's not a customized message because you're
I
not
thought
writing.
it was. Huh?
It's not, because this is the problem with it. That's an automated message. You could personalize like their name, filters, things like that. I'm
Right.
fine with everything you just said up into that one point where it's like this customized message. It's not. Everyone is going to see through that. And when they receive it, they're not going to receive it well, typically, unless they're dying for what you have. Like if they just got hacked, they might be like, okay, Jason, like, I don't care what your message was like, but we need someone, right? And like I've actually been in that situation.
Yeah,
Um,
those are the best prospects whenever they've had some kind of scare.
yeah, I mean, one of my clients I was working for, we got intercepted and a hacker stole $20,000, never got it back.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So those folks would be very receptive, right? But majority are not in that boat. So you sending this automated message, not good. If it's only 5 to 7, time block a half hour a day, 20, 15 minutes a day even, and just send them a message. And I wouldn't even do it via text. I would do it via video message if I could. Voice notes are cool too. So think about things outside of the box because everyone's texting. But I can tell you, I receive messages every single day. I've received, and I'm going to be really accurate here, one video message, I think, in the past year.
So by its nature, that purple cow approach stands out to you for the person who did it that way.
Yeah, I gave him a lot of free advice. I was like, we're going to rewrite your script, your video message script. And I did it all for free for him because no one takes the time and no one is brave enough to do it. And I've done it. I did it for years and I know it works. And I also know like even the voice notes can work because it's something different. Or like a voice note and then you send them something, they'll be really curious.
Is it complicated to set up a voice or video message to send out?
No, but we're not setting it up. That's my whole point. We're not automating this. We are going to do the work and
Sorry.
send the
We
message.
do the research into the individual who fits your ideal client profile. We find them. We send out an invitation to connect through a video message.
You can't do that through a video message. You can send a connection request text only. So
Okay.
on that one, you should, you know, if you want to automate the connection request, fine. You'd be better off like connecting with people that you engage with their content and engage with yours. But let's say you don't have content and they don't have content, you send the connection request. Okay, I'll let it slide. But then after that point, that's when you should send the video message or a voice note or, you know, whatever. But it still needs to be personalized. Like you have to look at the profile. You need to make them know that you've done your research because now what we're combating is AI and automation. So my company closed. We used to be a lead gen company. That is why I am so strong about saying training because although we did training, right? We did done for you, we did done with you, we did consulting, we did all the things. In 2023, I started to see a shift um, in conversion rates on outreach. So back in the day, like we were setting up all the tech stack. We were using programs like MailStand, which aren't even popular, Line, Lemlist. We were doing automated outreach campaigns with LinkedIn Helper. And we were doing this for our clients. The tech stack wasn't great. It wasn't user friendly. We were running it for them. We were doing the personalized outreach through AI, writing, you know, doing generative AI. It was writing out everything. And it was working because people didn't know it was AI and automation. They back then, you actually like in 2020, 2021, that was usually like a human doing the connection request, a human doing the message. Um, and if you personalize it enough, they definitely was. But now, once even like in 2023, I realized like that wasn't converting as much. Also around that time, I realized how important content was. But it wasn't working, it wasn't converting as well as it once was. So I backed off of that and I said, no, 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 this has to be personalized. And I tested it. And you cannot personalize at scale. If I, okay, so like if I own a company that does done for you outreach the right way, my margins are shit. So I'm like, I'm out. I'm training and consulting because I'm not in the business of not making money. So now we take teams who are already there and we enable and teach them how to do this, how to start conversations on LinkedIn, how to find the right people, have a daily process that they can manage and maintain. And then also, become a little bit of a brand ambassador on LinkedIn with content and how to create content the right way, how to format it, all plugged in together, because that's the recipe that works now. The thing that worked in 2021, 2022, even 2020 and before, people are trying to use that methodology, but it's not working anymore, right? Cold email, not what you do, Peter, but just cold email for meetings, spamming people on LinkedIn with connection requests. It's just not converting that well. So that's why I feel so passionate about like, okay, you have to personalize, like, let me teach you how to do this.
Gentlemen, either of you have any questions? Otherwise, Chelsea, please feel free to, I know that I sidetracked part of the conversation.
No, you're fine. I like
Just-
to pause so people can think.
Just a comment, since we're a small group,
Yeah.
we do a marketing podcast with CMOs, and one of the questions we ask is about LinkedIn, and what's a message that resonates with you, and what's a message that annoys you, and they all say personalize the message, take some time to research me. Every single one of them says that. So
Yeah, and people can feel it. You can even feel when people wrote something now. You ever realize that you can feel it when you read it? You can feel that that came from a human or it came from AI. And we have to be careful because the AI can help with certain things like clarifying certain thoughts or potentially helping with some formatting, right? If that's something we struggle with, but we still need to use our brains, especially in the business of sales, because it's all about humans and connecting with people. And, maybe one day it will be AI agents selling to AI agents and they will have their own discovery calls and they will pre-vet. And that's awesome, like whatever, but we're not there now, right? It's still us humans. So, making sure that that is done the right way. And if that means you send 3 a day, you send 3 a day. Also, when you're identifying your ICP on LinkedIn, if you can start with people who posted on LinkedIn, that's a really good start because we're trying to go after people who we know are active. Now, not to say that people who don't post aren't active, because a lot of them do things like comment on other people's posts and stuff. But if you can go after the posting first, that's good. I also like to do other things like look at people who graduated from the same college, right? Look at people who live in your same area. Other layers of commonality are important. Worked at past companies, things like that. I don't love like we have the same connection because 99% of your connections, you don't know them, right? That's not going to mean anything if someone said you're connected with Bob. You'd be like, okay, I don't know Bob. So, I try not to go that route, but any other areas of commonality you can find, that's going to be a little bit better than going in cold, completely cold. And then with like business pages, that's something we should discuss too. So there's the personal page. And then there's the business page. So the personal pages are really important because that's where people connect with each other, right? People connect with people. The engagement's always higher. You can send one-to-one messages. With business pages, you can't necessarily do that. So it's a lot more complicated. So when it comes to your marketing and trying to gain awareness and get sales, I'd love if people would understand to focus more on that personal page and that sales page, especially as founders, salespeople, right? Like we really want our energy to be on that personal page. And then for the business page, don't try and get followers as much. Don't try and, focus too much attention on it and like get a bunch of engagement. Because honestly, you're most likely not going to get engagement on your business page. LinkedIn suppresses business page posts. That's just the truth. We see at least a 550% increase in engagement on posts that come from personal pages versus business. But you do need the business page just because it's like another website, right? Like kind of like you need a website. You need it there so people can say, okay, this is a credible company. And then also going back to the very beginning of our conversation, we want to support a buyer on their little research journey. So if I email someone, they're like, who the heck is Chelsea? They're going to go to my LinkedIn profile. Then they're going to go to the business page. On that business page, what you should be focused on is like key content pillars that are pinned. So things like a services post, very basic, like what do you guys do? What are your services? I love a case study post. Those are always good to have on a business page. Testimonial post, those are also good. And then I also like an origin story post. I think those are really fun. So if you own a company and you can take a picture of yourself, you're the founder or you have a couple founders, and talk about how it got started, pin those on the top of the page. I think that's just like a really, for a buyer journey, like that's a easy like easy line of things to absorb if they want to inform themselves a bit more, and then an option on the page for them to book, because obviously that's the goal, right? We're using LinkedIn as another distribution channel to get in front of buyers and get meetings with them, pre-qualify them hopefully in those DMs, and then get qualified meetings that we can convert to business. That's like the whole goal. And we only have a few, I always say, we only have a few ways to get in touch with people. We have the phone, super challenging, cold email, very challenging, LinkedIn, a little less challenging, carrier pigeon, I don't know, direct mail, maybe there's 5. Like we don't have that many. So, you know, we have to, you have to throw LinkedIn in the ringer. At this point, you have to at least try.
You said for the business page, you said origin story, case study, and there was a third. What was the third?
Testimonials.
That's well, also, the first one, Jason, you want to have is that services post. Just kind of goes over what your services are. You can say, you know, we do placements of fractional tech officers, and, you know, typically this is what it looks like. You know, you ever see the little infographic pages? I'll get you guys one. I'm gonna give you one. I just helped my client with this one. I can use it as an example. They don't mind. Here, I'm going to share my screen quick. So we're in the process of building them out now. But just like a little, you see here, they do exteriors. They help residential builders in Florida with drywall, solar, roofing, house wrap, fascia. So they just made this one little visual. It's an infographic. You can make it on Canva, very simple. You can hire someone for 20 bucks an hour to do this for you. If you need someone, I can connect you to them. Only if you're on this call, not everyone. But if you too need it, I could connect you to someone who can do this for you based in the Midwest. And like just, you know, like a little services page, and then the post goes from here. So right here, they have the little post formatted the right way. This is what they specialize in, right? So if a buyer comes, that's what they're gonna see. And they're like, oh, I need that. You know, I'm a builder. I need a roof for my buildings. It just makes it easy. Make it as easy as possible for everyone.
I'd be interested in talking to your graphic designer.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll connect you. Make sure you guys send me an invite on LinkedIn and just say like you were at this webinar, so I accept it. I'm not even going to show you how many people are in my inbox right now. But I will definitely connect you with her because she's wonderful.
Great.
So Chelsea, I want to be sensitive to your time, but certainly ask if there's anything you feel as we kind of end our time together today, anything you feel is critically important that people do or stop doing in terms of using LinkedIn as a sales generation tool. And just leave the floor open to either of our attendees to just ask any final questions of Chelsea.
Yeah, like my number one thing is to just stop spamming people with automated messages and connection requests.
I felt that almost visceral reaction, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm like, just stop that. If we could stop with that, that would be a step in the right direction. And then when it comes to the pages, right? Just providing clarity as much as possible for people that are very overwhelmed, and just keeping empathy for your buyers and their own buyer journey, and really considering your buyers every step of the way and everything you put out and everything you have on that profile page.
Got it. Hey, gentlemen, either of you have any final questions? And I will circulate the link to today's recorded session, which will have all of Chelsea's contact information in the description below. So there'll be an opportunity to reach out. Any final questions, or Chelsea, any final comments?
No, I think this was good. I love small groups. Happy to have my soapbox here and like share how I feel about LinkedIn. But yeah, definitely connect with me. I want to help you, Jason, connect to Nicole, and then just follow your journey too on LinkedIn. Make sure we're connected. And Peter, send me information on the CTV and an email, and I'll explain
Yeah.
why via LinkedIn. Okay.
Definitely.
Awesome.
So-
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Chelsea, so much for joining us today
Yeah.
on the Top of Mind Speaker Series. So take care, everybody, and have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.